My name's H Lambie, and this is my office. The office is right by Santana Row here in San Jose. And wanted to talk to a few things about the fiduciary business and what we do here. And people may say, well, how do you or why would you be choosing a professional fiduciary? So you would cover that when you're meeting with your attorney, when you're writing up a will or a trust, getting your estate planning documents together. One of the questions will be, who would you like as your executor, your trustee, agent under the power of attorney? And so those decisions have to be made. In addition, this decision may arise if you have a situation where there is an existing trustee, could be the family member, could be somebody close to you, could be a distant family member, they're acting as a trustee, but there's a change that has to be made due to capacity, the intensity of the assets, and that type of thing. So moving on from that, we also unfortunately get into some situations where there is litigation. So the two sides cannot agree, they either go to mediation or they end up in a trial, at which point a new trustee has to be chosen. So those are some of the situations, the background where you could be looking at a trustee. So to move on from that, you may be wondering, well, who could be a trustee? Well, there's a pretty long list. Some of the categories in there are, it could be a spouse, it could be a child, it could be a brother or a sister, it could be your next door neighbor, it could be your attorney, your CPA, it could be a bank. So any number of people could technically step into the role and act as a trustee of a trust. And so beyond that, what you'd be looking at is, how you would make that selection. There are guidelines on any trustee, whether it's the family member or whether it's a bank, whether it's a professional fiduciary, and these guidelines consist of primarily the trust document. Be the trust document, if it's a trust, it would be the will, if you're operating under a will, would be the power of attorney document, but there are some guidelines in there. In addition to that, in most cases for the situations we deal with, you're dealing with the California Probate Code. So that's why there's a lot of guidance from the attorneys as to who should step in, how they're controlled, what type of reporting that they have to do. So the background, again, you're looking at somebody who should be a trustee. With their background, they would have to know a lot in detail about real estate. They would have to know about taxes. They would have to be able to read a legal document. In the realm of real estate, again, very technical. They would have to be used to dealing with property managers, realtors, lenders. So there's a whole complexity of issues that arise with somebody who's named a trustee. It's not the sort of thing that if you were a nurse or a doctor or a psychologist, somebody who's got a really good background in education can just step into. It does require a fair amount of effort. The fiduciary will hire an attorney, will hire a CPA, will hire an investment manager, but they need to know how to guide those people. So that's a little bit of a situation that I'd want you to think about as a result of this presentation. And then also to give you some examples, we've had over the years a situation with an elderly lady in Palo Alto who no longer had capacity, was reported to the county of Santa Clara, and eventually reached out to us for control of their assets. We did everything with regard to their assets under a power of attorney, and then when they passed away, we dealt with the distribution of their assets under their will. But we were able to marshal their investments, pay their bills, make sure the taxes were up to date. And in one particular case, we actually applied for Medicare. The person had never ever applied for Medicare, so that saved them a considerable amount of money. We had a gentleman, somebody who we call one of our Silicon Valley orphans. As a gentleman who had a career in technology, but as is in his waning years, he needed somebody to step in. Working with the stockbroker and the attorney, I was named again under a power of attorney, simple will, and we took care of the gentleman for a number of years before he eventually passed away. And the final example I'm going to give you is with regard to a very complex family situation that involved properties up in the Tahoe area, down in Monterey County, also in Santa Clara County, involving the development of a 107-unit housing development. And there was a dispute in the family, litigation ensued, and I was named as the neutral fiduciary to step in. And over a period of about 6 years, including the time for the development of the land, we resolved all the issues and got the proceeds delivered out to the family members. So anyway, if any of these things are of interest to you, please give us a call and we'd be happy to chat through your particular circumstances with you. Thank you very much.